Hello and welcome back to the Weekend Spread, coming to you live from beautiful Garfield, Arkansas. I'm your host, Bobby Howard, here with my boys, Jameson Maxwell, Ty Lee, and the captain himself, Boaton Blake. We are here on just a fine rivalry week, the final week of the regular season of college football, and we have quite the slate prepared for y'all. Boys, pretty seismic week overall. Probably not in college football, but in the weekend spread standings, some insane stuff happened. Ty had a 9-1 record, which has brought him within one game in the loss column behind Boaton Blake for second, and 3 in the loss column behind the leader in the clubhouse, Jameson. Just a miraculous run for him. Boys, where we feel in 1 week to go in the regular season, obviously got conference championships the next week. So not all done, but pretty crazy.
This is a tasty week. And to be honest with you, there's also a part of me that is my least favorite week picking college football bets, because we're doing this on a freaking Tuesday and we're going to hear people sitting out here in 2 days and we're going to be cooked with some of our bets. And you know what? You just got to take it on the chin, and you might win some and you might lose some. So let's just see what happens.
That was Louisville last week. Just instant regret when I figured out that Miller Moss was not playing. I was like, oh no.
But at the same time, Blake, like, Miller Moss shouldn't have been the straw that broke our Campbell's back. Like, he should not have been our linchpin.
Mistakes were made, but the thing that's so enticing about this week too, a lot of home dogs. Like, this is somehow just lined up perfectly for rivalry week, where it's all these teams, heavy road favorites coming in, and I like those positions. I love me a tasty big home dog.
Yeah, I had a wonderful sports weekend last weekend across the board. OU performed as I said they would. Offense atrocious, not becoming of the University of Oklahoma name, and should be cleansed from this earth. But the defense carried us to a win over Missouri. I was disappointed to see that Missouri fans are turning on Drink. If you look at his win percentage against ranked opponents and his win percentage against OU, he is markedly better than the University of Missouri average. So they need to remember their place. But yeah, it was wonderful. Formula One, we had a wonderful outcome in the race with both of Blake's beloved boys being disqualified, which was beautiful. And this rivalry weekend in college football is always an amazing sports week. Always amazing with Thanksgiving, but we're starting out with some heaters. We're starting out with the Egg Bowl right away. And that is must-watch TV. That is absolute must-watch TV. So many off-the-field things that we're going to get into with Lane Kiffin and Ole Miss. Mississippi State has been scrappy against. I don't want to get into my analysis, but I'm so excited to dive into every one of these games besides Georgia Tech, because Georgia Tech is overrated. But I'm so excited to get into this.
Yeah, it's a great slate across the board. I'm pretty pumped about it. And let's get into the Egg Bowl. I will say, I do wish it was on Thanksgiving still. I feel like that was just a perfect nightcap to the evening, and way more interesting than whatever late game that the NFL sends out there. So miss Thanksgiving Egg Bowl, but I'll take it. Our order of operations today. Jameson in the lead at 73-63 after a 7-4 week last week. Really good, honestly, all things considered, despite Ty's great week, kind of got overshadowed a little bit there. Boaton Blake falls to second at 70-65 with a 3-7 week. What happened there, Blake?
Mistakes were made. I would say that I do not regret the Mizzou pick. I don't regret the Houston pick, but basically besides that, things went south quickly. Houston should have won that game versus TCU. I don't know how they didn't win that game.
That's karma.
Now Sonny Dykes is the Big 12 Coach of the Week, according to CBS Sports. Just my mediocrity hell just continues. It marches on.
He's going to want to talk about TCU. But Bobby, I don't think we can let him off the hook for once again picking Sam Houston State.
Okay, they were in that game early.
atrocious.
They were in that game early. They were leading by 10, and then they just got trounced. Then Middle Tennessee woke up and just trounced them.
It's still Sam Houston State. Like,
I
what
loved
were
it.
you expecting?
The vibes were so good coming off of that program, and that
Vibes.
fourth quarter was everything. Man.
Getting one
Cinema.
win?
That first quarter was
You-
cinema, and then it just fell apart.
You abandoned all your principles last week. Like, you have long hated any school that's called state but is not a state. You love your frogs. You turned your back on your own frogs. Like, it was sad to see.
I will say, yes, I went against some of my core principles, but yeah. And the Kentucky pick, that was bad. I spelled out the theory too. I said, while ESPN was not on YouTube TV, Mark Stoops was rattling off wins in silence, and I should have known that when they brought ESPN back to YouTube TV, he was going to go right back to being a pumpkin. I should have known that. I spelled out the game script right there, and it just.
Or maybe
Schrodinger's
they're just playing
Mark
bad
Stoops.
teams.
Schrodinger's Mark Stoops. If you observe him, then he will not win.
He was just moving in silence.
Watch Stoops never boils, I guess, but I don't know. Ty running at third, like I said, with a terrific 9-1 week. And then I am firmly in last at 66 and 70 after, shocker, a 5-5 week, boys. Once again, my ability to just constantly hit 5-5 and be mid some weeks is just awful. It's just awful. But without further ado, let's kick into our final regular season slate of the season with one of my favorite rivalry games. It's the Egg Bowl. Bring me the egg. We desire the egg. It's the 7th-ranked Mississippi Ole Miss Rebels, 10-1, 6-5 against the spread, heading to Starkville to take on the Mississippi State Bulldogs, 5-6, 8-3 against the spread, fighting for their bowl lives here. Ole Miss, a 6.5-point favorite on the road. You can find this one 11 a.m. Central on ABC on a Friday. So should be a great way to kick off your post-Thanksgiving football watching day. Jameson, you kick us off here.
As is tradition, Bobby, I will revolt if you don't post the Mandalorian "We require the egg" meme. You almost didn't post it last year, and I had to remind you. So if you don't, you better put a notification in your phone right now. Pull out your phone right now and make a notification that
It's
at 10:55 you're posting it.
It's currently my camera right now, but I actually like you begging, you being like, we require the egg.
Yes, I love that. It's a tradition unlike any other. So I think that this Ole Miss Mississippi State game there's too much juice to being close with it. It's a rivalry game. Anything can happen. It's the Egg Bowl. Yeah. Lane Kiffin's on the outs. He's going to announce it after this game. People think that there's a house getting closed on in LSU. Blah. I don't believe in that. Even if it was, why would they go and buy a house right now? That just doesn't make any sense. And then there's sources saying they think he's going to be at Florida. There's all this hearsay, all these pointing fingers. Ty, you got something to comment on that?
They might want one of those 50-year mortgages before it goes away.
Oh, you're right. The time is now.
Kiffin finds a place and he stays there. That's one thing that we know about him.
And then there's all this hoopla of Lane Kiffin doesn't want to leave Ole Miss because he doesn't want to leave his morning yoga sessions. There's just all this baloney that I don't care about. This Ole Miss team has so much talent, and this Mississippi State team is really fallen off a cliff recently. Just by the eye test, I've not liked what they've looked like the past 2 weeks, playing against Missouri and playing against Georgia. Two very admirable foes, but their defense just looked like it crumbled, and I think Ole Miss has way too many weapons. I don't care about the Lane Kiffin drama. I know that people will take that as a negative, and I think Ole Miss still rolls here. Give me Ole Miss big.
Yep, I'm not deviating from Jameson's analysis here. I think Ole Miss just absolutely kills Mississippi State. I think some of the results, like maybe the close Texas loss and their record being way significantly better than last year, thinking that this Mississippi State team has significantly improved. I still think they they are improved, but they are still, when they hit this elite talent, they just get run over. I don't trust Mississippi State's defense to keep them in this game. I still love what I see from Ole Miss's offense, and their defense is great enough that I think it slows down Blake Shapen in this passing attack for Mississippi State. I think this one's probably off. Like, this line seems off by like a touchdown. Like, I think Ole Miss is just gonna throttle them. So give me Ole Miss.
Let me just say that it's an affront to college football, and it's absolutely disgusting that this game is at 11 o'clock. This should not be a noon Eastern. This is a game, and I don't want to say it's better or worse or more important or anything else, means more, whatever, than other rivalry games. The Egg Bowl should be played at night. It is traditionally a night evening game because it was on Thanksgiving. You go back, you watch Egg Bowl tape, it should not be at noon. It's just wrong. They're taking away a tremendous angle. Like, just the Egg Bowl, like, I'm getting chills just thinking about it. The Egg Bowl at night in Stark Vegas with those cowbells going, that's a Mississippi State team that has kept it close with some really good teams. Have they kept it close with teams as good as this Ole Miss team? I don't know, but you're telling me Mississippi State at home in the Egg Bowl gets a chance to become bowl eligible and be the second loss for this Ole Miss Rebels team this season. There's so many things going Mississippi State's way, and I understand. I really do understand what y'all are saying about this Mississippi State team falling off a ledge. I don't want to pick. I never want to be in a position where I'm having to support. We're not going to name his name. He's not Voldemort level, but if he witnessed what Voldemort was doing, he then wouldn't tell anyone about it. So we'll just leave it at that. But I don't want to. I know in my heart that Ole Miss is the pick here, but I know Mississippi, and I know they care, and I can just. You go back to the dog pee. You go back to everything in the Egg Bowl, and I got to do it. Jameson thinks I'm going to do a switch up. I'm riding with the Bulldogs. I'm
Good
riding
for
with
you.
State.
I'm proud of you.
State. It's home dog. The cowbell's going. They can be bowl eligible. There's just so this game. This is it means more. If Ole Miss and Mississippi State, if the players they would have different players, but if the players had to pay out of pocket to play this game, it would still be just as fierce, and there'd still be just as many people in the fans if it was never on TV. This is one of the ones where it truly does just mean more, and I got to ride with the home team. So go ahead and give me my beloved Bulldogs.
Yeah, the problem that Blake and Jameson, the problem with their analysis is they're using facts and logic and statistics. They've forgotten the most important thing about the Egg Bowl, and it's that it's the freaking Egg Bowl. It's the dumbest game known to man. Wild stuff happens all of the time, and I mean, this is a year that's perfectly set up for that sort of chaos. Lane has one leg either out the door or whatever the hell he's doing. Surely can't be good for that program. Last time we saw them, they're struggling with a bad Florida team at home. And, Mississippi State, I've been on them all year. I've got burnt a time or two, but I will say in Stark Vegas, they're a different team. I think they find a way to cover. I know that sounds crazy, but look, it's the Egg. And I require the Egg to have a little chaos, so we're gonna go with the Bulldogs.
If this game were at night, I would emphatically be like, no, Mississippi State is gonna win outright, money line. But
yeah,
noon scares me. But yeah.
Blake, I wish I could throw unruly amounts of money on Mississippi to win this football game and cover.
I'm just saying,
And I think.
We don't even know the type of twists and turns. It's only Tuesday that can happen from what Lane Kiffin's going to throw.
I'm not even worried about
Lane players.
Bobby legitimately hit us with an air quote of facts, and logic.
It's called joke. It's called a joke, Jameson. It's funny.
He's done. He's cooked, Blake.
We'll find out. The only way to find out. I don't know. I feel like I'm a Mississippi State knower, and I feel like I'm an Egg Bowl knower. I've ridden with them all season long, and they've only burnt me one time.
This is one of those games where now that it's on Friday, it really, if you live in Oklahoma, 8 hours the day after Thanksgiving sounds like a lot. This is borderline worth it if you're a true college football fan.
That's ridiculous.
Every year.
That is insane.
To go
8-hour drive just
to an 11 a.m. game.
After you house a few plays.
Well, you could also take I guess you could take like a 30-minute flight to Memphis if you can find a flight to Memphis, and then drive another 5 hours to get to it.
Yeah, no, you probably shouldn't go that.
Like 2 or 3, but
not financial advice.
There's not a good way to get to this game, no matter where it's being held. To be fair,
all right. Yeah. Let's move on to our next game. It's clean, old-fashioned hate. It's the 4th-ranked Georgia Bulldogs, 10-1, 5-6 against the spread. I would say they're going to Georgia Tech, playing at Georgia Tech, but they're not really. This one's going down in the not the Georgia Dome. Apologies, RIP Georgia Dome. This one's going down at Mercedes-Benz Stadium, which completely sucks out any sort of home field advantage. Georgia Tech, 23rd in the country after a brutal loss to Pitt. That record is not correct. They are 9-2, 6-5 against the spread. Georgia, a 12.5-point favorite. You can find this one 2:30 p.m. Central on ABC on Friday, right after the Egg Bowl. I'll kick us off here. Oh boy, look, I do like Brent Key quite a bit. Last year was pretty damn scrappy, at Sanford Stadium, all that sort of stuff. But I feel like this Georgia team is really properly hitting their stride, and in an environment that's not going to be chaotic at all, might even be positive towards you. I like Georgia to cover the 12.5 here against a Georgia Tech team that kind of just had their soul ripped out last week at home by Pat Narduzzi. That's brutal. So UGA 12.5 is the play.
Yeah, give me the dogs, as in the Georgia Bulldogs. I think with this era of college football, you kind of have that incentive to continue on the gas, and the playbook is out there now for how to really smoke this Georgia Tech team. And Georgia absolutely has the talent, and Georgia absolutely has the coaches and the staff and the infrastructure there to take advantage of what they've seen. So absolutely give me Georgia. Again, rivalry weekends, anything can happen, but give me the Bulldogs. Again, those dogs run in packs. Am I right, Blake? I'm not picking the dog here, but I'm picking the Bulldogs at least. Those dogs run in packs. Give me the Bulldogs for the second time in a row on this podcast, minus 12.5 at 2:30 p.m. Central Time on ABC, which by the time of this game probably won't be on Fubo the way that they're doing things. But
I feel like the ball not knowers are just going to be slobbering over Georgia Tech just because of the performance last year. But this team is stinky. I am so mad that those rankings came out and they still had a number next to their name. This team cannot win a meaningful game that matters. They are scrappy dogs, but that is the best they will ever be. They will never reach a ceiling greater than that. So it's very fitting that they come into this game, really had the season of a lifetime, that they just threw it all away last week, and they're just going to get killed by Georgia. There's really no motivation for them here. I think we saw their best effort last year. Georgia's going to roll them. Georgia's just going to absolutely fold this team. This one's going to get nasty. So give me the Bulldogs.
Yeah, this Georgia Tech defense ain't it. It ain't it. They've been really, really struggling. Now, I'm picking Georgia as well, and we're going to sweep it at Georgia. I don't think this is a slam dunk pick because I think Georgia Tech and their players, they have a bunch of veterans on that team that could scrap it and really could backdoor us here. I could absolutely see that happening. The Haynes King has not been playing well towards the tail end of the season. I don't know if that's been a wear and tear thing because the way he plays is not a sustainable thing. He looks really damn good at the beginning of the season. And obviously he's hanging on as hard as he can. And he's having to lead massive comebacks the past couple of weeks. That is not going to be a good recipe for sustainability as a college football player. I do think that this team could backdoor, but I'm not going to pick a spread just because I think there's going to be a backdoor happening. I think Georgia covers it.
All right. Sweep for the dogs here. Let's move on to the Lone Star Showdown. It's the third-ranked Texas A&M Aggies, a perfect 11-0, looking to go 12-0 for the first time in their school's history. They are 5-6 against the spread. Heading to Austin to take on the Texas Longhorns, ranked 16th in the country, 8-3, 4-7 against the spread. Texas A&M, a 2.5-point road favorite. You can find this one 6:30 p.m. Central on ABC on Friday night to wrap up that Friday night slate. Jameson, who do you like?
Can we talk about the SEC championship game implications and all of the tiebreakers? Because that stuff really confuses me.
Yeah, sure.
Basically, if Texas A&M loses this, they do not make it to the championship.
How is that?
Yeah,
possible?
because what's the tiebreaker here that's getting it? Because obviously Georgia would have one loss, Ole Miss would have one loss within SEC, and then Alabama would have one loss, but they're not going to count their Florida State towards this.
It's conference win percentage whenever. I think it goes like first head to head. Then if you've all three played, then I think it's like combined record against one another. And I think what it'll ultimately come down to is the conference win percentage of your opponents, which is a problem for A&M because they played literally the bottom half of the SEC. So they did not play anybody in the top half.
So that means that Texas A&M is the bottom of the barrel if they become a one-loss team. They'd have to have Auburn beat Alabama and Mississippi State to beat Ole Miss. But Alabama is essentially going to be getting in no matter what if they win this game. So if Texas wins and Alabama wins, I think Ole Miss would therefore not make it if Georgia wins. I think Georgia gets in.
Georgia can't do anything because they're playing Georgia Tech.
So Georgia gets in essentially if Texas wins for the most part, assuming that the Egg Bowl or the Iron Bowl are pretty similar. So I think that we look at this Texas A&M team, and obviously they have a lot to play for with that. There's a lot on their shoulders, but at the same time, the way Texas has been playing these past couple weeks, I mean, I still think that their offense is humming, and I still think that they have a lot to play for in a rivalry game versus Texas A&M. I think this is not a game I want to bet on. This is a game that I'm really, really excited to watch, but I think Texas can scrap it out and give us a win, and then we're going to have to listen to it for the next couple of weeks of saying, oh, should a 3-loss Texas team get into the playoffs? And it's going to be extremely annoying.
Yes.
So get ready for it.
They should, over Indiana, who hasn't played anyone.
Oh, my God.
Oh, God.
Yeah, your Duckies.
And also,
the Duckies didn't matter?
Yes, and also Oregon and also Notre Dame. No one in the Big Ten besides Ohio State should be allowed to play off, objectively.
So I'm going Texas to beat Texas A&M.
Yeah, it does worry me that it's just like A&M's dream season comes down to playing in Austin, a place where they have not won in a very, very long time. I saw a picture that somebody posted of the Austin skyline the last time A&M had won there, and it was frightening to say the least. But I've been rolling with Texas A&M all year long, and I ain't stopping now. The bussy boy's coming into Austin. I think he has maybe he's up to 15 catches this year.
He's done nothing.
He's done nothing, but he'll get a catch a game, and I go nuts whenever I hear Bussy, Terry Bussy gets a catch. I'm like, yes, for 7 yards.
Bussy. It's a Bussy.
No, it's Bussy.
I mean, he's engaged to an A&M person, so I think he knows more than you on this one, James.
You're exactly right. I'm just going to stay away from this. Say it one more time. How do you pronounce his name?
Bussy.
You're the expert, Blake.
But this A&M offense is just so much fun to watch. They're just solid. They can run the ball. They can pass the ball. Marcel Reed has shown that he could be one of the more elite quarterbacks in the country. Texas's defense worries me, but the one thing they have been susceptible to this year is the pass, and I feel like Texas A&M has enough weapons to really spread them out, and they don't have to rely on the run game as much in order to beat Texas. I think this one's close. I don't think this is going to be a blowout by any means, but when you're kind of giving me that 2.5, just bait me into it, I'm going to take it that Texas A&M probably wins by a field goal, gets the cover, gets the win, makes the SEC championship. But yeah, Give me the Aggies, but this one feels I'm with Jameson though. Don't bet.
Yeah, this is an avoid. Just to clarify, because you didn't mention it, but the last time that A&M won in Austin was 2010, which was only 3 meetings ago. Just to clarify, so Texas is on a 2-win streak, but 2010, you may be saying that wasn't that long ago, but when it comes to Austin in 2010, like almost everyone there was born in Texas, and nowadays I don't know if you could find someone born in Texas that lives in Austin. So that was a long time ago in terms of Austin. That being said, 2.5 points. A&M better coach. I'm glad we don't play them because both these teams have a better coach than we do, apparently, based on head-to-head records. But don't look at it. Both of you guys looked at me when I said that. Like Venables has a winning record against Sark. He absolutely does not. A&M, excellent coach. They have the tools. They have the assets. I agree with everything that Blake and Jameson said about at some point in this season, you just look at what's like the funniest thing or what's the most chaotic thing that can happen. That's absolutely that Texas wins here because it throws all sorts of like, I don't even know what the committee does. Like we talk about SEC championship implications, the CFP implications. If Texas wins this one, the CFP implications, if Texas wins this one big, are insane because of the domino effect of who do we let in, who do we not let in, the head-to-heads that the committee chooses to ignore, what they choose to, like this ties into every conference. Every CFP person, every athletic director, everyone has to tune into this one because unless we get an A&M big win or at least an A&M win by a touchdown, there's all sorts of question marks. So I'm riding with A&M. I'm riding with the Aggies. I like the Aggies. I'm generally
No horns up for Aggies.
No, absolutely no horns up against my beloved Texas A&M.
Beloved.
No one at Texas has ever done a tenth of what Johnny Manziel did in his short time at A&M and on this earth. May he rest in peace, although he is still around, probably not for long. But
I'm just saying, oh Lord.
Give me A&M -2.5.
I try to act like a shaman over here.
I can't. That's not a shaman. That's, I think most reasonable people would agree with that take.
I can't believe I'm defending Texas, but yeah, I mean, I'm just saying Vince Young had a better season than Manziel. So
yeah, but not as cool though.
Johnny one of the greatest plays of all time.
Johnny Manziel made more as a college player than Vince Young did.
Maybe.
And I think made more in the NFL.
Oh, Lord. Look, I'm still waiting on this Texas team that some of us think is here. This hyper good offense that, oh,
nobody is saying who is saying hyper good offense.
Jameson has been crowing every time Texas pops up on this podcast.
Don't you dare say that I said they're a hyper good offense. They are improved, and I do not hear a lick of you saying that they're a hyper good offense. Don't not put words in my mouth. They've improved.
I feel like every single time Texas pops up on this show, you have nothing but good things to say about how Texas is looking better. They're going to beat Georgia, blah 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 blah. And they're just not that team. They aren't that team. They're a middling team that got a decent SEC schedule, fumbled most of their way through it, had a great game against Oklahoma, and I think A&M's going to win here. I totally understand what you're saying, that this is a rivalry situation. Could definitely see some chaos, but Elko is a type of guy who can motivate his guys, and this is a big one. Like, I mean, this is a blood feud to the nth degree, and you're one win away from A&M immortality. So I don't see the Aggies not winning this one by more than 2.5. So A&M 2.5 to play. Jameson is on Texas Island here. So
if Texas wins this and gets left out of the playoffs, this is going to be bad. It's a lose-lose either way. We either get Texas in the playoffs, which is just horrible, or teams are never going to schedule good games ever again in early on in the season. Like, they're never going to schedule at Ohio State ever again. It will just set the
No.
precedent that there's no reason. Like 3 losses seems to be the barrier, and so you should never schedule hard.
Just don't lose. Just don't lose to Florida. You know what I mean?
I know,
is true.
I know that, but they don't see it that way, Bobby. They'll blame it on their one loss, like at the beginning of the season, and they'll just say we should never schedule anybody hard because 3 losses automatically means you're out of the playoff.
Yeah. But all right,
It's
let's
gonna be
move on to our
bad.
next. Yeah, it would
Just
be bad.
pray for A&M
Let's hope
win.
it
Just
doesn't
make it easy on everybody.
Just get them off the board. Moving on to our next game. This is our first Saturday game. It is a pretty pivotal ACC tilt here. It's the 12th ranked Miami Hurricane, 9-2, 6-5 against the spread, but just praying for something to happen to get into that ACC championship game. They can do themselves a lot of good by beating the Pittsburgh Panthers, ranked 22nd in the country, 8-3 overall, 8-3 against the spread. A win here, and I believe Blake, I believe they lock up an ACC title appearance. Am I wrong on that?
I believe you are correct.
They certainly eliminate Miami from everything, and they get I believe they control their ACC destiny. I'm not quite sure. Miami is a 6.5-point favorite on the road at
No, they
stadium
don't.
formerly.
It's not winning. It is not winning. Get in.
No,
If
there's
SMU
a
wins,
lot of scenarios.
SMU, real. Oh my god,
You've forgotten about the
So-
pay to win school.
SMU and Virginia control their own dynasty.
Destiny.
Destiny right now.
Oh god.
UVA.
So
Yes.
Miami needs Miami needs either.
This is
This
a
not
joke of a
serious
conference. This sucks. We have to. SMU's gonna make the playoff, man. SMU 3 losses
2 years in a row.
absolutely got just mollywopped by this TCU team this year. Lost to home at Baylor when they were up big. We're really gonna allow this team in. We're gonna have
And
to.
so much of the argument will be all these BYU fans being like, "Oh, these SEC teams, there are too many SEC teams." And no, you should be mad about whatever crap comes from the ACC instead. Like that's a perfectly good BYU should be in that place.
I'm
But
sorry. It's just if Miami can't win, like Miami should not be ranked this high. They should not get an at-large. If you can't even coming into this final week really have a shot to even make your conference title game, you don't have any business in this bad ACC even playing in the playoffs. You don't. You were eliminated weeks ago when you just keep on fooling around with these meddling teams. But I caramba, because this is just never gonna.
don't have a
ACC
cow,
is
man.
going to get 2 teams in. They're going to get 2 teams in, and the Big
I don't
12's
know
going
if
to
that's
get 1.
for certain. I don't think that's certain at all.
I think it is. I think they perched up Miami right here to strike whenever BYU inevitably loses to Texas Tech, and it's just going to make me sad because we only have 1 representative being Tech, and then it's this is bad.
Well, no, it'll be an ACC champion, and then the group of 5, and then Alabama somewhat at 10.
The real scenario is you just put in 1 ACC and 1 Big 12 and stop talking about these other people.
Yeah,
No,
I mean that's
Big 12 should get 2
probably
this year. It's a quality. We've had a quality top of the conference.
right.
Top.
I mean, I agree.
Now give BYU the participation trophy once they lose in the Big 12 championship and wave them off.
No, I'll fight for my Cougars.
Anyways, my Cougars. Anyway, this game's going on 11 a.m. Central on ABC on Saturday. So I'll kick us off here, I believe. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
He is.
I kind of love Pitt here. I know. I touched I saw what happened with Notre Dame. I saw that hot stove. I'm like, not touching it. And sure enough, that stove was hot as hell. And Pitt looked awful against Notre Dame. But Pat Narduzzi is a man of his word. He said Notre Dame didn't matter. All that matters is these next 2 games. That's the only thing that I'm focusing on. And he showed up and he beat the crap out of Georgia Tech. I'm a believer that, Pitt, not a bad team. They're throwing out all the stops. They're playing this game in 33-degree weather. Miami flying up north for this one. They'll be freezing their ass off. They're not used to this. This is one of the few times they've left the state of Florida this season. I'm telling you, I like Pitt 6.5 to at least keep it close. I think they win this ball game. I don't think Miami's everything that everyone's cracked up to be. And I could see Carson Beck just having one of his meltdown games here. So give me Pitt in a big spot at home to cover the spread. Keep their, I can't believe I'm saying it, college football playoff hopes alive.
Oh, God.
Yeah, just to clarify, being stank is not like a seesaw. Like, Miami being stank doesn't make Pitt not stank. Both of these teams are disgusting. This is the game that should have been swapped out objectively for U of A versus ASU. But Georgia Tech is better than Miami. So what Pitt did to Georgia Tech does worry me. Miami traveling to Pitt, also kind of worrisome. Noon. I got to ride with the Hurricanes. I don't really like Miami, but I got to ride with the Hurricanes here. Give me the U against Pitt. I do not want to see this Miami team in the playoffs. Blake is right. BYU and Tech both probably deserving of a playoff spot. I'm not as anti-SMU as he is, but the ACC needs to be. Dude, some of these brand names, like, this is crazy. Like, some of these brand names carrying. If Miami were not Miami, they would not be 12. And I say that as an Oklahoma fan, right? Like, we have a bit of Oklahoma privilege as well with our brand name and our history. A lot of other schools do, but a lot of teams with this, like, if Vandy had Miami's record, they would be unranked if you were to swap their schedules. Like, it's kind of disgusting. So, but give me the Hurricanes -6.5, high noon on ABC.
Yeah, I'm gonna choose Pitt here. It's not gonna go well for me. I feel like I haven't had a Pitt selection go correctly for me all year long. Every time I try to jump on this team, they immediately just flop over and are just horrendous. I just hate that this game has stakes. This is why the 12-team playoff makes me mad. Is these teams should not be even close to consideration. Ty was right on the money when he said that Miami is only there because of their brand. Like, their losses are inexcusable. The fact that you have two losses, one to being this Louisville team that's just absolutely sliding, the other one being SMU, who just got destroyed in their non-conference. This is just a horrible conference. I'm gonna go Pitt here just because I don't trust Mario Cristobal in those big spots, but watch them kill them by like 30, and then we have to consider Miami in the playoff now. ACC gets 2 bids in, Big 12 only gets 1, even though their stanky conference this is why I hate the 12-team playoff. So give me Pitt, but it's this. They said the games would matter at the end, but I'm like, do we really want this game to matter? Is this what we really wanted? Like, is this really what we wanted as fans?
Yes.
No, we did not want this.
Give me Miami having to gut out a 30-degree win in Pittsburgh to have a chance. This game none of us would have paid any attention to this regardless. But now it's at least something to watch on one of your 3 screens.
One
of your multi-views.
I watch the games regardless. Like, it doesn't matter about the stakes of this weird 12-team playoff happening. I would watch this game regardless.
I just want to clarify that Blake was such an outspoken critic of people who are fans of conferences. And now Blake is not a fan of any one school and is just a Big 12 fan. He has disowned his schools. He is no longer cheering for them, and he is only cheering for the conference.
I don't cheer just for the conference, because if I could have my way, Texas Tech gets nuked into the sun, Utah doesn't make the playoff. There's still a lot of teams that I do not want to see in this from the Big 12 that I'm totally fine with them not making. It's just the problem is the teams that I hate are kind of at the top of the Big 12 conference.
Why don't you just cheer for BYU beating Tech?
That's what I'm trying.
Solves all your problems.
Yes, but I also have to temper my expectations, because if I put my heart in that basket, I'm already a crushed man this year. My team sucks. I'm stuck with my coaching staff for at least another year. Like, I can't just be putting all my hope, the little I have remaining, just in BYU. I know how this happens.
Fair enough. Jameson, who do you like?
I'm going to go with the U here and Ty. The Ty Jameson combo usually doesn't work out really well. But I think that I understand that this whole Carson Beck can crumble outside of his comfort zone and leaving Florida. But I mean, he did go to Blacksburg this last week and pitched almost a perfect game. And I understand it's Blacksburg. And I understand Virginia Tech isn't really much to speak of. But still, like, he threw 4 touchdowns and almost no incompletions and looked really damn good. I think that this Pittsburgh team is going to get a lot of props from what Bobby said. They saying like, oh, they didn't try versus Notre Dame. They get a free pass because they didn't care about that game. But whenever you have really Notre Dame is just good. They're very good. And also, if you have a really good team and good players, even if you're not schematically trying that hard, you will still put up a better fight than what the eyeball test showed from Pittsburgh. I think that there's a lot of things there for quality opponents where I really love Mason Heinzel, and it's a guy that I identified early this season. But whenever he's versus high quality defenses, I do worry about him in his youth. And you really saw that at certain parts in this season. I think he can be a really damn good player, but Miami's defense is one of the better defenses in the country, despite what's been happening for the past month. They're a really, really talented team that could put a quarterback that's young in a lot of problems. I believe in Malachi Toney and Carson Beck to put up enough points. Pitt has some errors, and they did not get the cover. So give me Miami 6.5.
All right, we got a split on this one. Let's move on to the game. It's Ohio State, number 1 in the country, 11-0, 10-1 against the spread. They're heading to Ann Arbor to take on the 15th ranked Michigan Wolverines, 9-2, 4-7 against the spread, but more importantly, 4-0 in the last 4 meetings against the Buckeyes. So Ohio State, the defending national champs, a 9.5-point favorite on the road to try to break that streak and just get that whole issue off your back. You can find this one 11 a.m. Central on Fox. Jameson, what do you think about this one?
Ohio State keeps chipping away this whole season. They may not have played these big games with all their eyes on them recently because of the Penn State flop, but they just been going in, handling business, getting out. But there's something inside of me that says Michigan can still keep it close enough. I think I'm going to pick Michigan in the points here. I think Ohio State still does have a lot to fight for style points in terms if they really want to fight for this Julian saying Heisman, which I think is a little bit ridiculous saying out loud. That's such a sad Heisman race that we have right now. But they will continue to fight for that. And whenever you look at Michigan, you can gaslight that team into thinking anything whenever you're a 2-loss team, really. You could say, oh, if they win this game, they have one of the best wins in college football. And then also, they have 2 losses, and one being quality outside of conference on the road versus Oklahoma is also going to likely be a playoff team. I think that's a lot to get this Michigan team pumped up and to keep it close a little bit and keep it scrappy in a rivalry game. So I'm going to take the points.
Yeah, I could definitely see the scenario that Jameson is envisioning, but the one thing that's just sticking in the back of my mind is that if Ohio State gets a lead here, they have no incentive to put their foot on the brake. I think if Ryan Day has a chance to kill this team, he is going to do it, just of what Michigan has put him through the last few years. I'm going to take Ohio State, the 9.5. I am a little nervous because Michigan does have a lot to play for. Michigan still has a shot to make the Big 10 championship, which is just wild. It's
if they win this game, they're in.
No.
Am I wrong on that?
No, they need Washington to also.
No, they both have. Ohio State and Michigan would both have one Big Ten loss, and Michigan would have the advantage of them.
Yeah, but then Indiana, but then Oregon would have one loss. Indiana's in, yeah, but Oregon has the better conference opponent win percentage.
Indiana and Michigan can face off. If Indiana beats Purdue, Michigan beats Ohio State, and Washington beats Oregon.
So wait, Washington.
So if Oregon wins, then we get an Indy-Oregon rematch.
So yes. You would need Washington to beat Oregon in order for that to happen. Well,
yeah, you need Michigan. Michigan doesn't have.
Well, Michigan can get in and play Oregon if Purdue beats Indiana.
Yeah, that's not happening.
God,
That is
wouldn't
not not happening.
We're all looking forward to this 1 versus 2 Big Ten matchup. Oh, never mind. It's Oregon, Washington, or sorry,
I would
Oregon,
shoot
Michigan.
nice
What
bottle
everyone
of Lord
expected.
if that happened like that.
That's
There's no way.
that's sick because that gets you more Big Ten in the playoff. Because like Ohio State's in the playoff, Indy's in the playoff. Like we've crossed that Rubicon. Both of those teams are a lock for the playoff. Michigan could now be in the playoff, and Oregon is almost certainly in the playoff.
I don't know if they lose to Washington.
Oh
if they
my
lose
God!
to Washington,
There'd be 4 Big Ten teams then if
It
Michigan won
depends.
that.
It depends on the Washington loss, but Oregon has brand privilege, like Miami. I would argue.
Wow, that'd be such a mess. Anyways,
it would be disgusting. And
But-
SMU is still getting in, just to clarify.
it's SMU. Yeah, see, that's the
SMU 's
problem.
in.
It's like they could just take up a spot, one of these coveted spots of a pretty decent bubble this year. I would have to say that just the bubble spot could be just eaten by SMU out of all teams. Just watch them get destroyed again. Just we're going to be subject to it. But I think
SMU just walk into the playoff every year. Hello.
It's insane that they don't have to play. They had to play Miami, and that was like the only team that had to play the ACC. It's insane that they're getting the Indiana treatment of the ACC whenever they came in here. They don't have to play. They don't have to play nobody.
we are talking way too much about SMU for the Ohio State Michigan preview.
It is just going to make me so irate. But I think Ohio State. I think significantly better team. I think the Julian Sayin Heisman race, he's not really a Heisman caliber player. I think it's more indicative of the talent that he has around him and that he really just has to make sure he doesn't crash the car. But yeah, I just think Ohio State they know, especially after last year and that Michigan team beating them, they have to win this one. So give me Ohio State in the 9.5.
Yeah, I'm with Blake. I got to ride with the Buckeyes here. I understand everything that Michigan has going for them and the incentives that are there for Michigan. I understand that, yes, Ohio State hasn't played anyone, but when you're the defending national champions and when you are the Ohio State University, when we know how much you can spend on players, we know the players that you have, arguably this is the method now, is to just play no one in the regular season because the playoff is so big. You can drop games. It doesn't matter. We're just going to expand the playoff again, apparently. So if you're a big brand like Ohio State, you just ball out on your roster and you don't really care about the regular season because your brand name is going to carry you into the playoff, and then you lock in when it comes to the playoff. And the playoff has nothing to do with this, so I don't know why I'm going deep into that rabbit hole. But Ohio State, I think people are going to see this as their first test for the season. It's not. They should have this one, and I think Bobby had a great point in the intro. Is Ryan Day has a lot of incentive to flip the script about what he can do versus Michigan, and I would argue. We're still in 2025. If you go back to just the start of this year before they won a national championship, the script is completely different about Ryan Day. People were not believing in Ryan Day until he had done a lot more. He had absolutely done a lot more than James Franklin at Penn State, but the talking points about him in the general media and in the fan base were not far off what they were for James Franklin until he won that national championship. And I feel like a lot of people lose that perspective. Michigan, Sherrod Moore, excellent head coach. There's been some institutional issues at Michigan in the wake of Harbaugh, but 9.5, don't like it, but I got to ride with the Buckeyes here. I know we haven't really seen a lot, but I believe them to be the better team, and I will continue to believe that till I am shown otherwise, which is probably going to be in the playoff. So go ahead and give me the Buckeyes minus 9.5 going into the big house.
I feel like the points I would make about this for Ohio State are the exact same points I would have made the past 4 years. They're a better team. They're more explosive. And there's no way in hell they're going to lose to Michigan again. They have to have the motivation to finally beat Michigan. Every year I've made that exact same argument, and every year for like 4 years I've been burned on it. And I'm frankly a little bit tired of it. Michigan has a mental edge. In rivalry games, that is everything. And I know that at some point, surely Ohio State is going to show up, gut up and be like, no, enough is enough. We're going to beat these jerks. I'd rather just be wrong whenever that happens, because Michigan has an absolute edge over Ohio State. They have flipped the script on the series, and I don't know if Michigan's going to win this game, but I think they have more than enough, and obviously still a ton on the line to fight like hell to try to make this close. You're in Ann Arbor, you're at the big house, so you don't even have the horseshoe on your side. I think Michigan, I mean, we saw it last year. We know the type of game that they can play to win this. You know, you kind of muck it up, keep things short, and find a way to win. You out physical them. And until I'm proven otherwise, Michigan is going to be the play here at 9.5. So give me the points on the Wolverines to keep this close. We'll see. I don't know, but Ryan Day
Paper
definitely
hands.
has
That is known as the
hands.
hot hand fallacy.
Yeah, you sold them at the wrong time.
maybe I might. I'm not. I feel like I've been just game stopping them here. This is
guys. Until I'm proven otherwise, Enron is an amazing stock. It continues to rise.
And can I say this? Look, I don't think Enron lasted as long as this streak has, honestly. But look, let me just say this honestly about everything going on with this specific game is I just feel like Michigan. I think Michigan finds a way to keep it close. I don't know. It just feels different. It feels different. I understand the whole diamond handy thing, but I don't know. They just don't have that edge. They just don't have that edge.
Ooh, people are pitching crypto in the comments. Can we throw that up there?
Oh,
what is Radio Shack coin?
Oh God, Radio Shack coin.
Sounds like something that Stanford would pay your NIL in.
I remember my point too. Do you remember the last time Ohio State appeared on the weekend spread, not in a wild card position?
Was it Texas?
Week 1?
Yeah,
Week 1, because they've done nothing since then. So we'll see how it goes. I think they probably still win this one, but I think Michigan covers. All right, moving on to another Big Ten battle. It's the 6th ranked Oregon Ducks, 10-1 overall, 7-4 against the spread, heading to Seattle to take on the Washington Huskies, 8-3, 6-5 against the spread. The Ducks, a 6.5-point favorite on the road. You can find this one 2:30 p.m. Central on CBS and Paramount Plus. I feel like this is a week where some chaos happens, and I feel like it happens here in Seattle. I think Washington finds a way to keep this close, maybe finds a way to beat the Ducks. Look, Oregon looked really, really damn good against USC. I just have a weird feeling that, throughout this slate, you're going to see a home dog pop up, and you just have to find the right ones. It's like whack-a-mole. You don't really know where it's going to pop up. And I'm taking my guess here. I think it's Washington here. I think we see a twist of the knife here. I feel like there's just no way that the top of that college football playoff ladder is static the rest of the way. Like there's going to be something that happens this weekend. And I think it happens here. So give me Washington.
Look, there are 2 truths in college football on the weekend spread. One, you never, no matter what you do, you absolutely never mock a cornered Bobby who is zagging all of everyone else's picks, because he locks in when he gets cornered, and deep down, he's a ball knower, and you got to watch out for that. So it's like a skunk, right? It's not fierce until you get it cornered, and then you regret that you cornered it. So this is rivalry weekend 2. That's point 2. Don't actually count on any of these outcomes, because anything can happen. Many of these teams, this is their Red River. game. Like anything can happen. Going into Washington, truly one of the most beautiful venues in college football, like insane venue. This is such a amazing to watch on TV matchup. 2:30, amazing time for this game. You guys already know what I'm going to pick here. I'm just saying we're not doubting Bobby. We're not going to do that. We know better than that. But give me Oregon. Give me the Ducks. Go Birds. Fly Ducks fly. You know, it's so easy. 6.5. Absolutely. I understand. People will say, "Oh, well, what about Dan Lanning's record against Washington?" That was against a coach that is not there anymore. And this is a different Oregon team. This is a different Washington team. Is Oregon going to win the national championship? Probably not, even though I did, say that earlier in this season on a podcast. But I think Oregon is a fairly overrated team. But I think this Washington team is not going to be that big of a challenge if you're giving me a 6.5 point line. So go ahead and give me the Ducks. Go into Washington. The Oregon guys are not going to have any trouble with the weather. It's not going to be that different. I think we're good here. We've got the warm and fuzzies. Let's push this one. Give me Ducks -6.5.
Yeah, the only complaint I really have about this game is I wish it had a 9:30 kickoff. This feels like vintage Pac-12 after dark, where things get a little weird while most of the country is sleeping and actually affects something in the college football playoff. I'm kind of with Bobby. I think Washington is a very solid team. I just think they had an inexcusable loss to Wisconsin, which is unforgivable, but I think this team's really solid. They play well at home. Seattle's a hard place to go into, and I just feel like these old Pac-12 matchups, it's these things get a little bit closer. Do I think Oregon's going to win? I think so, but I think things can go sideways quick, and they're fighting for their lives versus this Washington team. I think Jed Fish is a great coach. I think there's so many things I like about this Washington team. I don't know. I think things go a little bit sideways. Oregon squeaks it out, but 6.5, especially on the road, I'm taking Washington.
That Wisconsin loss is just stuck in my head.
It's so bad.
That was not that happened a while back. That happened 3 games ago. That is just, I can't get beyond it. And we talk about Oregon and what they've done, and they've shown some weaknesses, really, where I look at it and say, could they let up in a position like this and show us some weaknesses like you guys have been saying? Absolutely. I don't know if this is the situation I want to pick Oregon to falter in. I think Oregon still covers this spread. There's going to be some moments at the beginning of the game where I agree. We might think that Washington might put up a fight, but I think Oregon has too much firepower, pushes through in the third quarter, and gets this game into double digits. I'm sorry, guys. I wanted to pick Washington this whole time, but I'm telling you, that Wisconsin game, that's something very, very recent that shows what could be and what could go wrong. Because a lot went wrong for that result to happen.
I will note that game did happen at Camp Randall, and
I do not care.
Well,
I don't
Wisconsin,
care.
Wisconsin also got a ranked Illinois team there too. So
yeah,
Illinois is just the most
Illinois anymore. What are they doing? What they've been up to?
I have no idea, man. And I will say too, Washington. I think we forget about this. They cannot stand Oregon. That fan base hates Oregon. So, we'll see how it goes. I think
I wanted to pick Washington that whole time. I can't get by it. I think it's that Wisconsin thing just stuck.
It's pretty stank. That's fair. But college football, pretty weird. All right, let's move on to our next game. It's a pretty big one in Neyland Stadium. It's the 14th ranked Vanderbilt Commodores, 9-2, 8-3 against the spread. Heading to Knoxville to take on the Tennessee Volunteers, 19th in the country, 8-3 against the spread, 8-3 overall, 5-6 against the spread. Tennessee favored by 2.5 at home. You can find this one 2:30 p.m. Central on ESPN. Jameson, who do you like?
Talk about havoc. Vanderbilt 2-loss playoff talks. I mean, you gotta at least have him in the conversation.
Nope.
And Blake's sitting there
Nope.
squirming, but
Nope.
you gotta have those conversations. I don't think it's gonna happen. I think Tennessee covers and handles them. I think that being at their home, and I think that they responded nicely to the Oklahoma loss by going over into the swamp. I'm not talking about the New Mexico State game. Going into the swamp and handling their business and doing a decent job of keeping the ball safe. That is a huge thing for them because I think Tennessee really loses it whenever you see a lot more turnovers, and Joey Aguilar kind of is very prone to that. But I like the way that they looked versus Florida, and that sold a lot for why I am picking Tennessee to cover this spread. But this is probably, I don't know about y'all, but this is probably my favorite game to watch this weekend other than Oklahoma, which is a weird
God,
thing to
no.
say out loud. No,
God,
I
no.
love this
No.
Why?
because
No,
I think
no,
there's
no.
a lot going on in this.
What?
I really like it. It's a good old rivalry. Diego Pavia's possible
No.
lost game. You know, like I think that there's a lot going into this game that makes it fun to watch.
It's got to be kind of ironic that this is your
Excuse
favorite
me
one.
for Saturday. For Saturday, I excluding the
We're
Friday.
putting a lot of filters on this now to get to why this game
If
is.
we do-
I'm just saying
I meant,
it's
I'm
ironic.
sorry for week. Whenever I meant weekend, whenever I say weekend, in my head, I'm thinking like not like the Friday games. That doesn't count.
Right.
Okay.
No,
Saturday,
but also I think it's ironic because you're going to be at the OU game, so you
Yes,
can't
I
even
said
watch it
other
if you
than the
want
OU
to.
game, other than the OU game, unfortunately. But you're
Yeah.
right. But I
unfortunately,
was excited for this. Unfortunately, I wanted this game to be at a time where I could watch it.
Yeah, if this was like a late game, you just get out of the OU game, check in, see how Pavia is doing in Eland. I totally see what you mean. This is a fun one.
and
Everyone is entitled to their own opinion. So thank you.
I think it's a good opinion. I think this is a fun
Thank you,
game.
Ty. Thank you, Blake.
why are you thanking me?
No, I'm being very
I don't
contradictory.
agree. I don't agree with you.
Anyways,
It's-
Blake.
Yeah, I pray to all that is holy that Tennessee just rains fire down on Vanderbilt. I cannot stand this Vanderbilt team anymore. I used to love Diego Pavia. Screw this man. Like, it's the branding around him just absolutely sucks. We see every single play is just Diego Pavia's mom. Like, when you are watching a Vanderbilt game, they're always panning to Diego Pavia's mom. You would think Vanderbilt would be a lovable story. They are not. I want this to end. Diego Pavia, I want him to stop being in college football. I can't stand it. I can't stand the fact that people are putting Diego Pavia potentially in their top of their Heisman list. Like, what are we doing here? This guy hasn't shown up in a big game, it feels like, all year. He's just been dragged by like Clark Lee actually building a good roster around him, and they're treating him like he's the second coming of Johnny Manziel. And also another reason to hate. Why is Johnny Manziel being a groupie with Vanderbilt when A&M is undefeated and potentially like could make it to the SEC championship game? I hate everything about this. It feels like weird corporate energy that they're just like trying to make Vanderbilt a storyline. I'm not buying it. This seems forced. Tennessee, kill him, please. Just destroy them. I want Vanderbilt not even close to the playoff. So give me the balls.
Yeah, it does feel like Blake pointed out some sort of corporate behind the scenes sort of astroturfing campaign to make Vandy seem like they're running ads in New York saying that they're New York's SEC team. No one in New York cares about the SEC. They don't care about that. They care about coffee and getting handouts from the rest of the nation. That's what they care about in New York. So they don't care about SEC football. And Tennessee, Vanderbilt is in Tennessee, but at the University of Tennessee, a beautiful university with a beautiful stadium. They care about football. And everything Blake said about Diego Pavia is true. They don't call him Diego Poverty for no reason. And if you look at him, if you really look at him, if you look at Diego Pavia, I promise you, and I'm not trying to imply anything beyond what I'm about to say here, but if you look at pictures of Diego Pavia, and I implore you to look up Diego Pavia on your nearest device as I say this, He looks like a young Coach O. And what is Coach O good at? Hype, recruiting, and then being carried by a roster and the people around him. And that is Diego Pavia. He just gets carried.
Bro.
Give me
He is.
Tennessee. Give me
Thank you.
them
This dude has
Vols.
done the opposite.
Amen.
of
Give
carry.
me
He's been
them-
the carrier for his
He-
whole
No, he-
career.
He has absolutely brought like so much energy to Vanderbilt.
Okay,
he's turned.
Yeah, that's all he's
Mexico-
bringing.
so
is
much
the
the
energy.
Mexico-
What he did for that program.
Yeah, but
All-
it's been night and day since then. It's like last year he was more of a gamer. This year, in the big moments, he has not showed up. He has not showed
You
up.
either die a hero, or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain. Apparently,
Yeah, because he's been in college for like 10 years. That's why he's becoming a villain. Is he just won't graduate and get a job?
The carry thing is one of the worst takes ever.
No.
He has not been-
I just
he has
don't think
not
that's
been-
true, man.
He's been better. He's been
We
better.
forget
in
what
past-
Vanderbilt was before he showed up.
I know,
Clark Lee was about to get fired.
Okay, no.
I know that, but Clark Lee has built something there that is not solely reliant
you
on.
guys
I
are-
don't care.
Yes,
He
not-
could
It's not
build
solely
whatever he
reliant.
want.
No,
He
of course,
could
but
build
to
freaking
act
Lincoln
Diego
Logs.
Pavia is not a massive part of it. Is just
Okay.
asinine.
He was
Yes.
last year, but he's not. He's not as good as he was last year. He wasn't.
Sure,
Like,
that's
last year he
fine.
was like,
No.
like he's carrying him, and people are acting
No,
like
no.
he's taking
But,
some.
but the
next
problem's
step
not
up
with
this year.
the problem is not with Diego Pavia. It's with the media
Wait.
perception.
No,
I think
it
I
is,
think
okay,
that's a
because he is interjecting himself in every single conversation with
Wait.
all of his like little
Wait.
back talk.
That's why
Because
not.
that's good. That's good marketing, man. He's doing
Yeah.
a great
Do you
job.
think he's going to? Do you think he's going to play at the pros? Hell no. You got to
Yeah,
make
that's
the
why
most
he's-
of your
that's why he's-
moment, man.
Okay,
I
don't
know
be-
that,
don't be
but
hating on
You
Diego.
you're allowed to hate him because of that. Like that's the reason why most
If-
people hated Baker. Like
I mean, hate Baker all you want, but nobody's
Baker
saying
won a
like, "Oh,
Heisman.
Baker's not carrying this team," or "Baker's not that important." Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
Baker was way more impactful for OU than Diego Pavia.
you
is
can
right
say
now.
this guy's obnoxious as hell, but don't
Personally?
dismiss his ability on the field. Don't diss his importance.
He
to
hasn't
the-
shown
to
up in
that
big
team.
games this year, Bobby. He has not shown up in big games. He's been beating all these crappy little inferior opponents, and then
'Cause it's
when Bama rolls
Vanderbilt.
into town,
He's led
like,
Vanderbilt to a 9-2 record. Like,
yeah,
at the end of the day, I mean, 2 years ago, if I told you Vanderbilt's going to go 9-2 because of Diego Pavia, you'd say I'm insane.
but that's what I'm saying. It's not just because of Diego Pavia. This roster is talented. It's very talented in all other positions, and everybody's just like, this is only Diego Pavia's doing, which is just.
I
which is just
guarantee you.
unfair.
I agree with that.
guarantee you, if Diego Pavia doesn't play in this game, the spread is going to be Tennessee 13.5, and we'd still pick it.
Because they'd get obliterated.
Okay,
Who's their backup?
let me say.
Ow.
This is still my time. I want to clarify. To an extent, I do agree with Bob. Diego Pavia has changed things at Vanderbilt, but Diego Pavia himself is a symptom of the things that have truly changed things at Vanderbilt. What changed things at Vanderbilt was NIL and the donors investing in the coaching staff to bring players on like Diego and the people around him. So yes, Diego has done his part, but Diego coming to Vanderbilt was after the fact. Like things had already been, the first domino was already tipped by the time he stepped on campus, because that first domino was paying guys, building the roster, believing in what they had, and building around that. So that's to put bits aside, because I don't want to get on here and be like, Diego Poverty, he's no good at football, and then people take that the wrong way. He is good, but he's a hired hand, and the tipping point was not him. Although he has delivered, he has done what he needs to do. Like Blake said, they're still not there in the big games. 8-3, say what you want to. Tennessee should have beaten Georgia. Or did they beat Georgia? I'm forgetting that.
Look, I
No.
mean,
It's
here's
like-
here's what I'm saying though. When we're talking about all of this with Diego Pavia not going to get done in the big games, we're attacking a guy for not beating Alabama.
Yeah.
We're
Brent Venables can do it,
we're
it's not that
attacking
hard.
Vanderbilt, a quarterback leading Vanderbilt for not
Okay, well,
winning road games
let me
at Alabama
just say-
and at Texas.
what-
That is
but-
absurd.
The Diego
Bobby,
Pavry bit's
Bobby.
just going too far.
Wait,
you can say that he's
that is an
overrated.
awful
Let me
bit.
finish.
You
let
can say
me
he's
finish my
overrated,
take.
but getting
Let me-
carried is bad.
You've gotten 2 runs at this, man.
Let me
Like,
finish my take. Let me finish my take, and then Bobby, you have the time.
Bobby,
Give me
and remember
them
what
balls.
Diego Pavio was saying before that Alabama game, just talking so much crap like he was gonna own them, and he doesn't back
That
it
is
up.
true.
That's
They
the
were
thing.
one back. They
You
were
need
one
to
play away
embrace
from
that
covering. They were one play away from covering
From
against a really
covering?
good
Oh my
Alabama
God,
team.
1 play from covering. Oh Jesus!
We're talking about Vanderbilt, man. We're talking
Okay,
about Vanderbilt.
Bobby, but he doesn't treat it like that. Like you're treating him with kitty gloves for some
What do you
reason.
what do you
But he
want
was
him? What do you
talking
want
about
him to
that.
treat it like? If
He
you're
did.
a guy, you want an alpha at Vanderbilt who's going to get people pumped up and going. Like he's doing
Okay.
exactly what
and
he's
he-
supposed
and he
to
failed
do.
at that.
His delusion
Good for
of
him.
how
Good
good
for
he
him
is
for
has
trying.
gotten Vanderbilt to this level, has gotten him to this level. And yeah, it won't probably reach him to the top of the top of the top, but it's Vanderbilt.
I would
At some point,
change
if Vanderbilt
nothing
goes
about it.
9-3, if Vanderbilt goes 9-3, loses in Knoxville, that is a massive success.
Yeah,
Everything
and
that
it's not
Diego
just
everything Diego Pavia and Vanderbilt has done,
It's
everything
like,
Diego
Yikes.
Poverty has done at Vanderbilt will have been a massive, massive success.
Yeah.
Nothing about this Tennessee game changes any of that. And
Okay.
I
just
We're already
wish
starting
Clark
that.
Lee would get a little bit more of the shine because he's really what has built this.
Give me the Vols. Give me the Vols minus 2.5 at home, 2:30 p.m. Central Time, ESPN, that SEC slot, in front of 100,000+ people.
If Poverty, if I just said poverty, now I'll bring in. If Bobby picks Tennessee here, it'll be hilarious. It will be absolutely hilarious.
I hate that we had this conversation because I'm Tennessee all the way. Actually, I
Well,
really am.
no.
I'm not kidding.
No.
Like
I'm
this,
gonna
this
defend
isn't a
Bobby.
bit. I actually do
defend
love the
Bobby.
balls at home.
Oh no!
Because
Participation trophy brigade is
Tennessee
coming
can
in.
win this game. And the whole take here of why we're getting passionate is saying something way too radical of saying that Diego Pavia is getting carried. That is too radical. We need to come to the middle. This guy, yes, may
That's
be
what I'm
overrated.
saying.
Yes.
He's overrated.
Yes. No, but Ty is famous for this. He goes on these bits and these radicals and he throws out crazy baloney.
What if I been?
about
You
this
guys
stuff.
did the same thing when I said DJU should not be picked up by
Well,
anyone.
guess what?
But he's not DJU.
He is not DJ. No one
What
has
are you
ever been
doing?
that bad. No one has ever been that bad. Although John Mateer is doing his best, but no one's ever been that bad.
Oh my God, you gotta be
I'm
freaking
I'm
kidding.
telling you,
Jesus Christ.
Ty's bits are just so bad, and he says things like this that we have to get on them that passionately because before we know it, we're gonna get clipped, and then everyone's gonna think Bobby and I are also ball not knowers, just like Ty. So we have to do this. It's a defense mechanism.
Yes, that is true.
Well, those
And-
passionate Vanderbilt fans out there are really gonna come down our throats.
There's a Vanderbilt fan.
There
in our
is a
comments right
Vanderbilt
now.
fan hanging out in the chat. I'm sorry, Pathos Consulting Group, for Ty's ignorance. If you're still here, I
I'm not
apologize.
insulting Vanderbilt.
I mean, I think you're
Yes,
insulting one
you're
of the
insulting their
best
little
players
baby
in
boy.
Vanderbilt history. You're insulting one of the like.
The best
I just
player in
can't believe
Vanderbilt
we're at this
history.
point
That
where we're
sounds
like-
like a Vanderbilt not knower take. I'm going to Wikipedia.
Oh, Jesus Christ, man! It's
Jay Cutler was better.
okay, whatever, man.
As a
look,
college player, there might be a conversation for it still.
look,
Better than
just
Jay
talking
Cutler?
about this game itself, since we've gone off on a bizarre ass, straw man just fest here.
Was that a Wicked 2 reference?
No, it's not. Look, I think
Who here understands
Vanderbilt.
Wicked 2 references?
I have.
I
I
do.
just watched it.
I do.
Steven, yeah.
No.
Have you not
Are
seen
you
the
a
James-
Wicked 2 not knower,
Have you
James?
not seen Wicked 2, Jameson?
Do I look like a guy who enjoys Wicked 2?
No, but
you look
Ashley
like a
seems
guy
like
who's
one.
married.
Or a gal who would like it. But no, look, here's my thing about this ball game. I feel like Vanderbilt struggles at the most, whenever they're playing these really good teams who have a ton of strength, who just kind of feel like a big time SEC team at home. And that's Tennessee. We saw it last year when the Vols came to the little construction erector set thing that Vandy had going on last year. They just sunned them. Tennessee at Neyland. obviously not fighting for their playoff lives, even though there are some people out there who probably think that. Regardless, they can get one over on Vanderbilt, who they very much dislike and are very much annoyed with because they also hate Diego Pavia. And I just think Neyland's rocking for this one. Tennessee gets a win, but I don't think that's a massive indictment on Vanderbilt by any means. So I think this is a really pretty solid Tennessee team.
So in 2 years, Diego Pavia, just talking passing, we're not even talking about rushing because that's a huge part. Because I think if you want to compare Jay Cutler to him, Diego Pavia has 5,217 passing yards, and Jay Cutler had 8,700. So I think Diego Pavia, for what it's worth, bang for his buck, is probably one of the best, if not the best. He's probably the best Vanderbilt player of all time.
Yeah. So, anyways, let's get off of this insane conversation and move on to the Iron Bowl. 10th ranked Alabama, 9-2 overall, 8-3 against the spread. They head to the Plains to Jordan-Hare Stadium, the house of horrors for all Crimson Tide fans, to take on Auburn. 5-6 overall and against the spread. One win away from a bowl. DJ Durkin, interim head coach. Alabama, a 6.5 point favorite on the road. You can find this one 6:30 p.m. Central on ABC. So this just feels like a prime letdown spot. I see it. I get it. But it's Auburn team to me. I feel like it's too obvious. I feel like this is just too obvious. Like it's just there on the nice little golden plate, ready to go. Oh, look, it's Alabama going to Auburn. Oh, Kalen DeBall not know. Oh my gosh. Oh, here we go. It's gonna happen again. I don't see it. I don't think this Auburn team has the horses. I feel like they're absolute. They run an absolute masterclass on how to lose games, and I think Alabama's a better team. They're motivated. They've already got their shit loss out of the way with OU. Down the stretch, trying to get to the SEC championship. If you win that, you have a chance to vault even higher. We'll see how all that goes. But I like Alabama on the road here at Jordan-Hare. I might get burnt on this, but it just feels a little too obvious to me. So give me Bama 6.5.
Yeah. 6.5 seems I understand Iron Bowl. I understand the game is at night. I understand it's at Jordan-Hare, however they say it, but that wasn't a bit. I just however they say it is how I choose to say it. Whichever.
No, it is weird. You're right.
Yeah, choose your own adventure with the way I said it, but I feel like this Alabama team it's just solid. OU's a really, really good team, and OU was really, really well prepared for that Alabama game. But I think we saw maybe the best Auburn performance of the year against OU, I would argue. They had some really, really solid plays. They were really, really excellent on defense for a lot of the game. They had some really good offensive schemes. I don't see how this is a 6.5 point line. I think ABC and everyone else really wants this one to be close. I don't think it becomes a blowout, but I think Alabama gets the cover early on. I think they get it in the first quarter. And no, I'm not saying, they score on the first drive, 7-0, Bama has the cover. But I think Bama gets the cover early on. Into the first quarter, they're covering, and it looks like they're going to cover, and they hang on to that the entire game. And I could see 10 to 14 point win by Bama that looks like it should have been more, but Bama backed off. So go ahead and give me the Tide at Jordan-Hare. Don't want to have to do it, but yeah, give me the Tide. I think Auburn, unfortunately, they fell for the Hugh Freeze experience. And one thing is you got to know better at this point. You got to know better than to fall for the Hugh Freeze experience. You pay for him. He's trying to pay for it. You can't pay for him. So go ahead and give me the Tide.
So, little verbal meme here. It's the guy with the dominoes, the little small one all the way up to the big. Me watching last week in the small domino, me seeing the highlights from that Auburn Mercer game. with Deuce Knight as quarterback, and then the big domino, like I could 10 losses, 10 future losses with Auburn on the weekend spread because I'm bought in on Deuce Knight. This guy is electric. He is the new AR-15.
Oh
He's
God.
the new Lagway.
Oh
this
God.
guy.
I told you guys.
Oh my-
You guys called me a ball not knower earlier in this pod. As soon as Deuce Knight was announced, I said backup quarterback named Deuce. Bet on that guy. And what happened?
The highlights were stunning. The legs, Jameson. Oh, the legs. This
Clip
guy can
that.
do anything. He can do anything. I understand why this spread's a little closer than you would think because I think this is the Deuce Knight factor. I love this man. He is so good. He is so good and so young. I'm gonna ride this one. This one's finally gonna cash in. DJ Lagway didn't work out. AR-15 did not work out. Maybe I just need to switch schools. It's Auburn now. It's Deuce Knight because Deuce Knight he's the future.
Wait, do you have your do you still have your mulligan?
No.
Ashton Daniels is starting.
What?
Wait, time out.
No.
Yeah, no, they're starting Ashton Daniels.
Hold up. We need to investigate why Blake was into this guy because of his legs and because he was quote unquote so young.
What?
Yeah,
What do
no,
you
they're,
mean, what?
they're
He said that.
starting
No.
Ashton Daniels.
What? Are you serious? The
I'm not
Auburn
kidding you,
program
man.
Has like 50 cc's of juice last week finally and like some life, and they just go immediately to Ashton Daniels. Oh, this is bad. But
He
we've
sat
seen
out
these
the last
scenarios
game.
before.
Ashton Daniels sat out in the last game to keep his red shirt, and he's coming back.
Oh, you are kidding. Oh my God.
All locked in. So
No.
more damn legal, buddy.
Dude, just take the L and move on. It's Bama. If Bama's gonna just mollywop.
No, this could be good. I had these situations with AR-15 in the past. You gotta have some things happen. And it usually means injury, which we do not root for. But these things can happen.
Daniels oh no, Daniels is
block
down.
off by the left tackle with the end coming around the corner at barreling speeds. We could see my boy Deuce Knight into play. So
Daniels is down. Oh no. Here's Jackson Arnold warming up on the sidelines.
Dude, I think if Deuce Knight started this game, I would take Alabama even more emphatically, Blake. I think you're buying way too much hype on a Mercer game. Yeah, a really good athletic quarterback's gonna run all over Mercer. I get it. They were a one-loss team before this sport. Are they like they're FCS?
Why are we preserving Ashton Daniels'
Wait a
red
second.
shirt? What are we trying to preserve?
Why
here?
not?
Blake,
Why not?
can we
Why would you play him?
What is he going to develop into? We know he's not going to develop
Use
into
it or he
anything.
doesn't.
Ashton Daniels, future TCU quarterback.
Hey, it's gonna happen. Don't say that, Bobby, because it's gonna happen. I did see some like rumors, maybe DJ Lagway to TCU. They're not sourced, and I kind of want that. But maybe it'll make me stop believing in these guys.
Getting back to let's get back to Alabama because this podcast has been absurdly long.
Yes.
Alabama's going to crush them. They're going to crush them. Yeah,
they're going to crush
Auburn?
Ashton Daniels first.
You said you watched the highlights.
Comes in.
Guess who actually was watching some of it because I was in a household with an Auburn fan.
Oh,
Guess
no.
who saw that at the end of the first quarter?
They did. Yep. They started slow. But it's not sometimes how you start, it's how you finish.
It was 14-14.
Oh yeah. It was close in
quarter.
the beginning.
And we were looking at each other and we were
Bobby,
like,
there's 4 quarters to a game. There's 4 quarters to a game. You can't be cherry picking these 1 quarters. You got to play all 4.
I think
Auburn's
you can cherry pick
special.
against Mercer.
What makes Auburn special and to where they could cover this is not their offense. We're talking about the wrong side of the ball. It's their defense.
No,
And
it's the offense. It's Deuce Knight.
I wasn't as
Guy's so
excited
special.
about their defense in that Mercer first quarter as I wanted to. I wanted to see utter dominance in a defense that I feel like has some great pieces. And I think that's just not the case. I think Alabama rolls big time here.
All right.
Ball
3
nowhere.
folks
That's why
on
he's in the
Alabama.
league. That's why he's
1
in the
on
league.
Auburn. We'll see how this pans out.
God,
Which
I need to get on the board.
Which might.
I might need to get an Auburn message board subscription. I need to start the propaganda, the agenda going. This is insane. We are starting Ashton Daniels in a pivotal game where he has not
This
shown
dude-
that he can play
dude thinks
play the game of
he
football.
thinks being a message board genius can actually do something.
I'm sorry, Blake, but I
Nope.
looked it up, and Deuce Knight is about 10 pounds lighter than Mercer's D line.
That doesn't matter.
Deuce
to me.
Knight is not a big deal.
Marcel Reed is
clarify.
like 140 pounds and still dominates each week. I do not care about weight.
Fair. Look, so
Yeah, but I'm saying he ran on
My
Mercer.
God, seriously, this is going to be
we're
2
moving
hours.
on. All right, it's a massive game. It's the LSU Tigers. A massive game for us, anyways, OU fans. It's the LSU Tigers, 7-4 overall, 3-8 against the spread, heading to Norman for the first time ever to take on the 8th-ranked Oklahoma Sooners, 9-2, 7-4 against the spread, and 1 win away from the college football playoff. Likely to host as long as nothing crazy happens, knock on wood. OU a 10.5-point favorite. You can find this one 2:30 p.m. Central on ABC. Jameson, who do you like here?
I think Oklahoma covers this, and you see 10.5, and you're saying, how the hell are they going to do that with an offense like this? How the hell LSU going to do it with an offense like that, too? Their offensive line is decimated. An offensive line that throughout the whole season, I think that just before I go further, I think offensive line might be one of the most, if not the most important position in all of college football. This is an offensive line that has failed LSU the whole season, and then they have multiple injuries in this game that likely will leave them even more hobbled. Going against Oklahoma's defense, that is a huge recipe for failure. And I just don't think that there's a lot going for this LSU offense in the peripheries that can compensate for the trenches. I think that Oklahoma could hold them into single digits very, very easily, and that's what I would expect. And I think that Oklahoma can put up 20. That's as simple as that. I think that's where they get the cover. And I think you can kind of go in and talk bad about Oklahoma's offense and have every single right point about that. I think that John Mateer is destined for a turnover eventually because he continues to throw balls into defenders' hands. If he gets a turnover this game, it's almost expected. I would put minus money on it if I was an odds maker. If you say I expect the running game not to do much because of Xavier Robinson's injuries, completely understand. But what I can tell you is there's going to be a lot of short fields in this game. There's going to be a lot of problems that LSU is going to have, and it's going to put Oklahoma in a lot of room to succeed with a game that's going to have a lot of energy, and those players are going to be going out there and trying to make a statement, trying to get themselves a berth into this playoff. I think Oklahoma rolls here, wins well into the double digits, so give me 10.5.
This line scares me. This OU team, I think, after watching last week, even though I didn't cover, I still feel great about choosing Missouri even after that game, just because this OU is some Iowa with some juice, and that's why I like it. That's why I need them to make the playoff. That's why I want to see, just because they can literally, their defense can beat anybody, but their offense cannot beat anyone. It's the most wild thing to watch, and it's so ugly and kind of gross and feels very Big Ten-ish, but in a way, I'm even more enthralled by this version of OU than even some of the past more sexier teams like Lincoln Riley's offenses. Like, there's something enamoring about this OU team. 10.5 though. They're just always floating. They're always floating between 7 and 10 point leads. They don't give it up. It's just, God, it's how many can OU score versus a decent LSU defense. And then, Michael Van Buren, though, who think I take LSU. This is gonna be gross. I'm hoping Jameson's theory kind of plays out. Maybe OU scores 21 and we get a pick six and a offensive touchdown by LSU the entire game, and that's the cover. I think OU wins. Like, I don't think OU's on upset alert by any means. That's the best part about having this great defense. But yeah, it's just they can't separate. They just can't separate, which is what was bothering me last week when it's like, okay, they're better than Missouri and their defense is showing it, but they just couldn't separate the entire game.
Yeah. 10.5. Here's the thing. OU wins this game easily, but a blowout for this OU team is dangerously close to 10.5. I think this game is never in doubt. This game feels like OU is dominating the entire time. This game feels like, oh yes, OU is so much better. They're doing whatever they want to against this LSU team. LSU is so down on this team, and in effort to be brief, Lane Kiffin should go to LSU. LSU is institutionally maybe the best coaching job in college football. It's hard to stay tenured there, but it's one of those jobs where for sure if you go, you can just let the machine run, put your little touch on it, and you will win a national championship because of the in-state talent and because of every other institutional thing that LSU has going for it. It speaks to the quality and the power and the tradition that is Louisiana State University that a terrible season for them is 7-4 or 7-5. 10.5 points is just LSU has some dogs on that team. Whit Weeks is going to do things to John Mateer that are not in the Bible, and they're generally interpreted by many religions as a sin. They're not right to do to another man. And it's just like, imagine you're Deion Burks, imagine you're Isaiah Satania, and you're wide open 11 yards down the field, and you lock eyes with your quarterback, and he gives you that John Mateer stare because he has no field vision. And then he just runs out of bounds and then gets hit out of bounds, and it doesn't get called because, the SEC refs, they don't support you. They support Missouri. But 10.5 is a lot of points. But you know what I'm going to do. I'm not picking LSU. I'm not an LSU sleeper agent. I'm a Louisiana truther. Give me the Sooners. Give me the Sooners big. Is John Mateer going to turn it over? Maybe. But to turn it over, he has to throw the ball. And to throw the ball, you got to see something downfield to throw it to. And I don't know if he has that ability. He needs to get into, an eye doctor, whatever they're called. It's Opta something. He needs to get into one of them and get seen. The Sooners win big. The Sooners win big in this one. It's going to be nasty. LSU is going to be dangerous in years to come. OU is dangerous right now. Give me OU.
So here's my thing. I fully agree that LSU's defense is still full of some guys. I fully agree. I think OU's offense is going to not exactly have an easy go of it. But to me, that LSU offense is atrocious. It is broken. It is to a degree that makes OU's offense look like, the Lincoln Riley, Baker Mayfield era. Maybe not to that degree, little hyperbole there. But I feel like what OU's defense is about to do to LSU's offense is unbelievably intense. OU's offense knows what it is. It is not going to air it out a bunch. It's not going to run the ball down your throat. It is going to manage the game, avoid turning the ball over. They have not turned the ball over the past 2 games. They've won the turnover battle the past 3 games. And I feel like the team as a whole is locked in. They know you need one more. They are in sync. They are motivated. They just have this vibe about them that you haven't seen from an OU team in a while, where they are fully bought into the vision. They're fully bought into taking each game, one game at a time. And I don't see any world where they overlook LSU and drop this one. I think the defense is going to completely wreak havoc on LSU, put the offense in good position. And if the offense can't get the ball in the end zone, Tate Zandale is going to punch it through the field goal. So the field goal post. So to me, I feel like OU has this one. I think they covered 10.5. Essentially what you're asking me is OU going to beat LSU more than they beat, by more points than they beat Missouri? And I think, yeah, I feel comfortable saying that. I think OU wins in comfortable fashion. We'll see how it pans out. The Sooners have not had good luck against LSU in recent years. Obviously, quite different LSU teams, but I like the Sooners to cover. We'll see how it goes.
I have a quick question, and I know we got to keep it short. If Tate needs one more 50-yarder to tie the record or to break the record for 50-plus yard field goals,
I think it's tie.
Okay, it's tie.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so he's at 7. He needs 8 to, I guess, tie a Tennessee
think
guy.
so.
Sorry, I'm forgetting the name. I'll have to look it up. But there's a Tennessee guy I know that has a record, and it's 8.
Jameson's ASMR, like,
Yeah.
I forgot to freaking mute again. Sorry, I'm in a weird setup where everyone can hear my typing.
Like,
sorry.
you got like fake nails on at like
just
the TV,
aggressive.
like, yeah.
I just feel
I
Jameson's
hate
fingers pounding on my head.
Hold
my
on,
head.
baby. I'm gonna take care of
I
you.
hate that, I'm sorry. It's not though. It's just I'm on a stand where
The
it just makes
smacking
it
of the
really,
gum.
really obvious. I'm really
What was
sorry.
your plate number again, baby? What type of vehicle? And you got pulled over by officer who? And it's,
Okay,
it's
so-
like, dude.
Anyways, are we good?
I thought you were looking this up, James. This should be easy to look
Well, I
up.
had to
I don't
come
even
back
remember what
and
he's looking
defend my
up.
keyboard. I'm sorry.
No, hang
Y'all
on.
can carry on.
This is, I will say, very Iowa-esque team where one of your best players is the field goal kicker.
Yeah. And
Do y'all have a good
punter's
punter?
great, too.
Okay,
punter.
yeah. See,
It's the same
Good
guy.
Yeah,
special
Blake,
teams.
I wouldn't say
he's a
great.
UCO transfer.
I would not say
no
great.
way. That's awesome.
Brent
Yeah.
Venables destroys him about half the game and then praises him for the other half of the game. So
He
I
chews
don't know
his
if
ass
great
out and then he
is right.
fixes it. He's a UCO transfer named Grayson. It's incredible. I'm sorry.
This
can
is
we-
actually harder to look up than it.
this is bad podcasting. Can I just hit the button?
Yes.
All right, time for our favorite pick of the week.
Why aren't the brakes working?
Because I cut the brakes! Wild card, bitches!
Brakes, guys, I can't stop this van.
It's time for the wild card picks. We're going to make our favorite picks from outside of the slate. We don't need to dive into everything just because we're running low on time, but I will kick us off here with my favorite pick of the week. And I'm going to, I know we're just looking for some more variety. We've gotten a lot of SEC here, but I'm going to keep it in the SEC. You know, we more SEC just means more, blah, blah, blah. Let's get another game in here. I love the Missouri Tigers -2.5 on the road at Arkansas. The Razorbacks,
Oh my goodness.
the
That's free money.
Razorbacks,
That's
the
free money.
Razorbacks are dead in the water. I feel like that Missouri team is not as bad as they looked last week against Oklahoma. And you know, I understand it's in Fayetteville, the whole battle line game, all that. Arkansas hasn't won a game in God knows how long. What, September? Give me Mizzou to cover the 2.5 on the road.
Oh my goodness, that's an amazing pick. That's free money. That's
Bobby,
free
you
money.
failed to announce the wild card standings. I would like to talk about them, please.
Sure, Jameson at 11-3, Blake at 7-7,
Thank
me and Ty at 4-10.
Yes. Jameson is on a 3-game losing streak. I'm on a 2-game winning streak. So just to
Yeah.
clarify.
Thank God I had that San Diego State in my back pocket last week.
that was Phew. It's you,
No,
you
that
can't-
was going to be my wild card, but I wanted it to be my pot of greed to add a little bit of volume and trying to entice Blake into a little mousetrap.
some
Yep.
damn-
And it did not work.
It didn't work because he had already used his pot of greed.
No, but he was up next for his wild card.
Yeah.
It was very strategic what I did.
Yeah,
Just
it
didn't
was. I do want to point out in Jameson's in support of Jameson, I suppose. He is doing much better in games that he chooses to pick than anyone else, than that guy that's on game day, than Bear on Big Noon, everything else. The big networks are paying big money to guys who are picking way worse than Jameson. So shout out to him. I will be doing what is widely considered, what many would consider as a stupid thing. I can't help myself. I can't help myself. And I almost picked Air Force again, but I realized that I've picked like 7 of their games legitimately this season. I picked against them, I picked for them. I've not got it right. I'm going back to the well. I'm going back to one of the first things I did this season, back when I was actually hitting wild cards early on. I'm picking my beloved. You guys know I love him. The listeners know I secretly love him. Great friend of the pod, Ford, knows I love him. America's USC Trojans. Oh boy, are we picking the Trojans.
What a
Minus
stinky line.
21.5. Look, here's the thing. You guys need to understand, this is not an excuse. One of the reasons why I have a 4-10 record on the wild card is I can't bring myself to not pick big lines. I love the big lines. If I can pick a 50-point line early on when they're out there, I take it. Give me the Trojans. Like, we got a team in LA. We got a team. I don't know what a Bruin is. Does anyone know what a Bruin is? This isn't a bit. That's a question. Is it like a bear?
It's a bear.
It is a bear.
It's just a name for a bear.
Okay, so we've got 2 teams, rivals in the same city, one named after a bear, one named after Turkish people. Give me the Trojans, minus 21.5. Lincoln Riley and that offense doing whatever they want to against the UCLA Bruins. They're both in LA. They both don't play at their own stadium, but at what is said to be USC's home stadium.
I'm having a hard time picking a game this week because I love so many on this slate. I'm going back to a tried and true method, the hater picks. I love just hating. And part of me, there's like 2 games. I wish I still had my pot agreed a little bit, because the one game I want to choose, West Virginia plus 24.5 versus Tech. I might sprinkle a little bit on the money line there. Maybe we get some craziness and Morgan.
Oh God, Blake.
Keep in mind, Blake, pot of greed does have no rules.
And maybe knocks Tech out of contention. But I'll go with the more reasonable one. Give me Jason Eck and the New Mexico Lobos plus 1.5 versus San Diego City. They're knocking them out of the contention for the Mountain West title this week. They're gonna do it. This San Diego City team has just been flirting with disaster the entire year, and Jason Eck and those boys, they know how to play down in New Mexico, a home dog. I love that situational spot. San Diego City, we've seen it in the national championship, when the lights shine brightest on them, they don't show up. They're not showing up on Saturday. Give me the Lobos. I might just run a little parlay, just like a little Lobos, maybe a little bit of Kansas Jayhawks to beat Utah, maybe a little bit of West Virginia to beat Texas Tech. I have a feeling
I'll be your bookie for that. God, please donate it to me.
I have a feeling that it's been a slightly rough season for the teams that I hate. They've started to sniff a little bit of success, but I feel like things always come up the captain's way in the end. So I have a feeling some of these teams are going to fall.
Talk about hater pick. I'm not picking off emotion. I'm talking about logic. And this is me not picking for a team that I believe in, but more so a team that I think is absolutely pitiful. And I think the direction of where they are and the vibes mean so much at the end of the season. A lot of times whenever I'm looking at this, like, end of the season, I'm looking for 5 and 6 home teams, that can scrap out a win and get bowl eligible, maybe have some good intangibles in terms of their culture. None of those this week really pop off the page as super exciting, but there's one team that I think has given up, and they've chosen to release how they've given up by saying, I want to preserve my quarterback's red shirt, and I'm not even going to play him. And it's picking against the Colorado Buffs. This Colorado team, the vibes are extremely poor, unbelievably poor. And this is just a game where they want to get rid of it. And they have to go to Manhattan, Kansas at 11 a.m. to go play their last game of the season. Kansas State, like I said, 5-6 at home, want to get into a bowl. And they just had a great game where they scrapped it versus Utah, where they honestly should have won that. They choked at the end. They blew it. I still think that there's like a chip on their shoulder to where they want to go and reverse that. I think that this team has proven that they can put up big points and they can go against a Colorado defense that is piss poor. And I can kind of say, oh, what they showed versus that Oklahoma State 14-6 win, that's not the team that they are. I think that they're somewhere probably in the middle. And I think it doesn't take much to absolutely blow out this Colorado team. I love Kansas State here in a 16.5. I think it's just going to be a no contest, 21-0 first quarter kind of game.
Yeah, that's a great pick. I mean, Jeff Sims beat the crap out of them, in Colorado at Folsom Field on their senior night.
This team is given up. There's no vibes at all. You say there's bad vibes, good vibes. There's zero vibes in Colorado.
Yeah. They're just done. Yeah.
Folsom Prison.
Great song. All right, guys, that's all we have for the final week of the regular season. Jameson, I'd like to spend the next 20 minutes talking about what we're thankful for. Jameson, what are you thankful for? I'm thankful for Diego Pavia. If anyone has any objections to that.
I think I'm thankful for how this season has changed our opinions, especially like maybe not through statements, but by actions. I think there's been a person on this weekend spread that actually believes in Kalen DeBoer as a coach, and his name is Ty. It's been great to see this evolution within his decision.
That's not true.
Personal growth.
That's not true. I know, and I'm thankful for the fact that there are coaches worse than him in the SEC. And that's what keeps him going.
That is
that brings me to my second thing that I'm thankful for, and that is the belief and knowing deep down in my heart that Brent Venables cannot be the OU coach forever.
Oh, good take.
That's the takeaway from this OU season is okay. Blake, since everyone apparently did the dumb bit that I did, I guess, what are you thankful for this college football season?
Not much to be thankful for right now, if I'm going to be honest.
It's that Facebook picture. It's like, why are you not smiling?
Not much to smile about in my life.
On a weekly basis, I have to deal with the hell that is my football team, and I will be one of dozens, as I said, in attendance this weekend. They're doing a giveaway. First 5,000 fans in the stadium get a Christmas ornament. We are to that level of minor league desperation to get people to fill these seats. So I'm hopefully this is the last game I ever see Kendall Briles on our sidelines. Sonny likes to stay for another year, so we got to fight that battle next year, but I just pray. I'll be thankful for a lot more if certain results happen this weekend.
I'm sorry, first Big 12 coach to win a playoff game, Sonny Dykes.
Oh boy.
Yep. Yeah. It's don't even get me started. It's
That
first
was an
ranked win since
uplifting-
Michigan last week. First ranked win since Michigan.
Wow. Well, that was an uplifting round of what are you thankful for?
I cannot wait until Thanksgiving podcast 2026 when Blake is going on and on about how he's thankful that Gary Patterson has returned home like LeBron to the Cavs to carry the Bronx.
He's also thankful for me for me deleting the Fire Gary Patterson video that still exists on the Scooter Pod YouTube channel. So
I was correct about that.
You were.
I've been corrected every turn, but sadly, it sucks when your football team sucks and doesn't really have a future for at least the next 2 years.
Blake for AD. Blake for AD.
Yeah, our women's sports though, great. Women's soccer made to the Elite Eight, maybe Sweet 16 of the women's tournament, and TCU basketball women's side, fantastic.
Good on you. Jameson has the 1,000-mile stare. This podcast has gone on way too long. Might have set records. Thank you all so much.
He's in our time zone now, so he doesn't have anything to complain about.
Yeah, well, good point. Good point.
He looks like he's in a garage.
Yeah. Yeah, we haven't made any comments about the treadmill behind him with the little
I
resistance
have no
bands.
mic, and I am in the office extra room of my in-law. So
Yeah. Well, if you got to feeling bored, you could have gotten a little pump in, you know. So, anyways, thank you all so much for watching all regular season long. We will be right back next Tuesday to pick the championship week games. We're picking all of them. NAC, Conference USA,
Wow.
SEC, ACC,
All
don't
10?
matter. We're picking all of them. Well,
We're
yeah,
picking
Big Ten
10
too.
games.
What?
I guess it's 9 now, right?
I don't know how many there are.
The
We're gonna
Pac-12
put
doesn't really play one anymore.
no. If they
that's
exist,
their
we're gonna pick
championship this weekend right now.
them. They've already played twice.
Well, yeah,
Or
but
no,
Washington
this is
State
the second
is a
time.
13.5 point favorite. Second matchup here.
Oh Lord. But we'll do the championship week, then obviously cover the college football playoff as we go, and of course, if you thought this podcast was long, the Bowl Pick'em podcast is looming. So, anyways, thank you all so much for watching us. Hope you all have a fantastic Thanksgiving week. Have some good time with, your family, your loved ones, and until then, we'll see you next time. Good luck out there. Boomer sooner, everybody.